Almost exactly a month ago, Nick and I went to Worlds in California, and while we were there, I interviewed 27 different people from the Netrunner community. I asked them all the same questions, and what you're about to watch are their collective responses. I hope you enjoy.
I started playing Netrunner in 2015, a long time ago. I had a friend who had heard about Netrunner, and it was his birthday. And he was like, okay, why don't we go to the game store and I'll buy you a game for your birthday. And he saw the Netrunner box and was like, oh, I played a game with someone with this one time. And I was like, sure. I thought it was just like a board game or whatever. Opened it up, realized it was a deck building game, made the most illegal corp deck I've ever seen in my life, because we read the rules and saw about influence, and we read the agenda cards, and we're like, oh, these don't have influence. You can play them in any deck, right? I had the 5 points and did the Maker's Eye, and on the last pull, and I won, and I was like, wait, this is sick. And yeah, here I am. And now it's like, what, almost 10 years later?
I started a little over 2 years now. I had seen the game when I was in high school, from other people played it in front of me, and then I rediscovered it through YouTube.
Where?
It was Shut Up and Sit Down review. I think that's going to be a common answer.
Heard it a lot.
2021, I've always been interested in the game. I've been playing board games for a while. I knew kind of that Nisei existed at the time they were Nisei. And then at PAX Unplugged in Philly, Dan B. Bushi was there kind of selling it, and I decided to buy into Gateway at that time.
I think it was 2015. I got in the game probably from eventually Shut Up and Sit Down videos that they just mentioned Netrunner over and over. And I was like, I have to get into this. Coworker mentioned it, and I started playing. Yeah.
Earlier this year, I found a 2012 core set box on the side of the road. This is not a joke. My neighbors had thrown it out. I love cyberpunk stuff, so I know Aura, who's another player, and Aura's like, oh yeah, very nice things like, hey, the scene's still alive, the game still gets played a lot, you should come join us. So then I started playing at the beginning of August this year.
Good, so I started playing with an original core set back in the day with a couple of friends, but they dropped off and ended up sitting on the shelf for a while. After the pandemic, I started playing Magic again, which was a big mistake, but made me think maybe Netrunner's still around. It turns out it was, and it turns out the game's really good. And now I'm here, still playing it, thank goodness.
I first learned about Netrunner in 2013 at a sleepover camp. I thought it was an amazing game. The mechanics were super interesting. The hidden information, asymmetrical aspect was just got me transfixed. I got connected with a local meetup in Seattle. That was back in 2016. At that time, there were 7 meetups. There was a meetup every day of the week, and I've been playing more and more competitively for the last 3 years. I started playing in a month before Gateway came out.
Back in 2016, it was the week after I played my first games with the core set. I went on Netrunner DB to kind of see what was going on, and that was the time that the first Most Wanted list came out. So it was a fun time because everyone was like, I have no idea what's good now.
Maybe 2014. A bunch of my coworkers were playing, so we had a little office meta.
End of 2013, so almost 11 years now. I got sick of paying money for Magic. I was playing Magic, I was playing competitively, walked into the game shop one day and I said, hey Sean, I can't keep paying for Magic packs. What do you got? And he was like, let me show you Netrunner. And I bought the first 2 cycles and the big box. And I was like, let's go.
Oh man, I started playing Netrunner in 2014. I had a friend just frequented the local board game store. And he found the local community, bought the game, and then he just taught me at home. He taught me how to click Magnum Opus, and I didn't learn how to play Corp for the first 3 months, and I just played Runner.
I started playing Netrunner around 2021. I'd really gotten into watching Shut Up and Sit Down videos. This is, of course, before they released their Netrunner video, but because I'd watched their entire back catalog because it was quarantine, they recommended to me the panel at Shucks where they talked about the death of Netrunner, and that's what got me into the game.
I started playing Netrunner whenever they did the revised core set. I watched one of the Team Covenant playthroughs, and I was like, this looks awesome. I'd already seen the Shut Up and Sit Down video a while ago. I'd never gotten into it, and it was a good opportunity to try it out.
I started playing Netrunner when I was 14, 12 years ago when the core set came out. I was playing the Shadowrun RPG with my friends, and I was going on my first band trip in 7th grade to Mall of America, and the board gaming subreddit on Reddit recommended Netrunner. It was Netrunner was really popular when the game came out. and I played locally, like with my friends for a couple years, and then I started going to tournaments probably in about 2014, just when Honor and Profit came out.
I started playing Netrunner about a year and a half-ish ago, maybe a little bit more than like 1.5 years. And I started playing because my friend, Chromatically, also known as Steven, taught me how to play. He used to play back in the day competitively.
I had a very good board gaming player friend of mine who told me to go out and buy every pack I could when Fantasy Flight announced that they weren't going to be continuing the game. And so I went out and bought a whole bunch of packs. And then I live in New York City, so the only place I could go was play in New York, and thought maybe this game isn't for me because I'm playing people who are like national champions and all sorts of sharks. And so I bounced for several years. But I met somebody, we did a lot of Lord of the Rings games, and he knew lots of Netrunner people, and we were over at his house for board games one day, and two people said, oh, we're going to the Startup CO tomorrow. And I said, oh, what's Startup? And got back in the Midnight Sun era.
Oh, I started playing Netrunner sometime in 2020-ish. When did System Gateway come out? A friend of mine told me about Netrunner dying. And then a couple years later, like I don't know how I even caught wind about No Signal Games happening because I had never played the game before it died, quote unquote, right?
I started playing Netrunner shortly before they started printing the Kitara cycle. And I got into Netrunner because I saw the Shut Up and Sit Down video about Doomtown and said, wow, Doomtown sounds awesome, I want to play it. And then had a hard time finding people to play Doomtown with. But then, I went back to that video and they said, but you have to think about this other game, Netrunner. And I tried that. And I stuck with it. Here we are.
I started playing Netrunner in 2014. It's been 10 years. I was taught by a friend after we both scrubbed out of the cut at a Game of Thrones LCG event in my local game store. And while other people were playing more Game of Thrones, we played some Netrunner, and it was a good time.
Oh man, what event am I most excited for? I guess the standard event. My goal is to win it. We'll see if we can get the three-peat. We just finished the team tournament. Our team was named the three-peat. Yeah.
Can you explain the three-peat?
Okay, so I won Worlds the last 2 years. So we're trying to get 3 in a row. Yeah, I mean, there's only one other player has won Worlds twice. So if I can get 3, then that hasn't happened before. Yeah, but also 3 in a row would also be like a hell of something as well. So we'll see. We feel good. I feel better than the last 2 years, actually. So, yeah.
I'd say main event. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, obviously, like, for me, for my team, but also, there's potential history. A three-peat could happen. Yeah, it'd be very fitting if it was me that stood in the way between the three-peat happening or not. That'd be, let's write that story right now. Yeah.
I am most excited. What am I most excited for? Honestly, just seeing everyone again. I haven't been to a big Netrunner event in years. Long. Like the last Worlds I was at was 2018 Magnum Opus, which is like a long time ago. I get to hang out with people, but then also have to play Netrunner, which gets in the way of the hanging out with people, but you know how it is.
I am excited to hopefully see Shaper lose. But in all seriousness, I'm thrilled to have been selected to be on commentary. Honestly, doing comms for Worlds has been like a dream of mine for a super long time, and I'm just thrilled and honored that I got selected. So,
definitely the standard tournament. Yeah. Goals were top half. That's kind of like where I've been previous Worlds. I've been to 2 Worlds in person and then a couple online.
Did you meet your goals?
Yeah, so came 21st. So made day 2 and won one of the 3 games today. So got to play Matt for that. It was really great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, best showing in any big tournament I've been to. So yeah.
Honestly, I'm not really here to play. I'm here to just be NSG staff and like talk to people, meet people, and just see people face to face.
So I was really excited for the team event and the standard event. Team event, I wanted to just have some fun with some people I know. Just don't care if we win or lose. Standard event, I was just excited to play a bunch of Netrunner, see how well I did. I've also just loved meeting all the people.
Tough question. Probably Crown of Servers. I like me some varied fields out there, and I think there's going to be a lot of interesting decks out there when people have to go play NBN and stuff that they're not used to. So we'll see what comes up.
The main event, I'm excited to just, get a bunch of games in with some decks that, I've
familiar and comfortable with, not the nonsense I'm trying to pull off over here. I don't have any expectations for placing or anything. I just want to, have a good time.
Crown of Servers yesterday. Crown of Servers is my favorite event at Worlds every year. It's just always a blast to see all the fun things people do. We had an absolute blast. We had an accidental team theme this year of all playing Snare. And I definitely got to kill someone with Sai Santan out of PD, which is not acceptable on JNet and not acceptable in the Swiss and Worlds, but perfect for Crown of Servers.
In a way, I was the most excited for Crown of Servers. I love that event. I think it's one of the most fun ways to get connected with people and connected with community. Of course, I was really excited about Standard. I prepped a lot for Standard. I wouldn't say it was what I was excited for, right? I mean, it's why I'm here, per se, but like something about the team tournament really gets me thrilled.
All of them. Since I'm organizing, I just love seeing everyone being happy. So whatever makes people the happiest. This weekend is definitely, it's kind of two separate halves for me. I'm playing in Crown of Servers, which is really fun. I'm looking forward to kind of, the camaraderie among the team and all of that. But I think the answer is, getting to commentate the main event. It's why I'm here. It's going to be awesome.
This one, team tournament. I'm excited about Standard. I like my decks. I know how to play them. But the team tournament is just loose and fun every year.
I think I'm most excited for the Standard tournament. I've never been to a Worlds before. This is my first Worlds, so I'm really excited just to see the caliber of players playing. So yeah.
Main event, honestly. I've been itching for competition. It's going to be good to get back into it.
Jenksgiving in a few minutes. I've rolled some truly weird stuff to put into Mirror Morph. I'm here to see what I can do with backroom machinations. And then I guess there's a main event or something.
I think I was most excited for the main event, but I was playing COS again with Izzy and Eli, and we did really well last year, so I was pretty excited for that too. I was excited just to see everyone here.
Probably the main event. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. I'm excited. I like competitive Netrunner, so I'm excited for kind of that side of it.
Ooh, I'm most excited in my spiky way for the Standard cut. I get to judge Standard on Sunday, so I'm going to be watching some really good games of Netrunner in what is going to be a really exciting end to a really cool tournament season, I think, like unprecedentedly competitive season.
So the only event that I participated in was the Crown of Servers event, but otherwise I have been at the HQ putting in people's results for the tournament.
Really this one. I had a lot of fun yesterday in the Crown of Servers, but really getting here was it's kind of a big quest for mine. I'm fortunate enough that my company gave me a 2-month paid sabbatical for 10 years of service, and so I needed something to do that wasn't just sitting around the house. So I decided I would take off September and October and make Worlds my quest, where I would just practice for Worlds for 2 months and come here and do it. So this is like the end of that road, so I'm super excited for it.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm running a cube draft today of old StimHack Cube up through Quorum, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
I think just seeing people. I'm moving back home for a bit, away from the West Coast, back to Manitoba. So seeing my friends from Seattle and LA and SF, and my friends from the East Coast from my testing group, Snare Bears. We don't get to see each other a lot every year, so it's nice to see them. I think my goal was to accept that I was gonna not make the top 16 and just be okay with it and have fun playing my games. And so far that's been what's happening. Not beating myself up for not doing well and just being okay, I would like to make day 2. But even if I don't make day 2, I had a lot of fun seeing everyone and I'm enjoying playing my decks.
Probably the standard event. Making cut would be really good, but we'll see about that. Yeah.
I mean, the top cut has been amazing. Honestly, we saw an amazing Swiss rounds. But that just means the top cut has been even more nail biting. Each game is coming down to the wire. No one's leaving anything on the table here.
I was supposed to make it into the cut, but we got out early, and I played a lot of board games. Board gaming was great. Awesome event, and now excited to see all the tiebreakers at the top cut.
Not really, no. I sorry. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, God, yes. You do. I do. I live in. Yeah, it's true. I'm part of NSG, so like I've been helping out a lot with Worlds. I've been organizing the GNKs that have been coming out this year, picking prizes for the soon-to-be casual tournament kits, and so on and so forth. But main focus being on Worlds pricing, the schedule, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, I mean, so I'm here doing production for the World stream. So like that's the biggest thing that I like to do. We did some streaming from this Sovereign of Subways was the big one that we did in New York, the team tournament, 3-player teams. That was the first one that I streamed and had Andre actually do remote casting for that, which I was glad we were able to do. It worked out. It was rough there because that venue had like 8 megabytes up. It was really tight. We were using every last bit of broadband power they had, but it ended up being like a great stream. And so like now we're here. We've got so much more equipment, so many more people, you including Eric, helping along. Each time I've done it, like it's only gotten better because there's been more and more people involved, more and more support being given to these streams, and we're making Netrunner look as best as we can these days, and I think it's going to only help the game out.
I'm somewhat active on, I guess you would call it the forums, more active on Slack than I am on Discord. I'm not really on GLC at all. I've been on Slumscast a few times, so I definitely listen to the podcasts that are floating around out there. Shout out to Neon Static as well. But shout out to Slumscast a little bit more.
You know, I just watch a lot of streams. A lot of Neon Static, a lot of Metropole Grid. That's most of it.
Yeah, so I took a little bit of break from NSG, but I do work with NSG. I used to be the marketing lead and convention lead, kind of handed those off to some other people, but getting back into it, going to be running the booth at PAX Unplugged later this year.
Well, I'm part of NSG. I'm the lead of distribution, so I get stuff from point A to point B as far as like physical product goes, and handle a lot of the printing and this and that. So I would definitely say yes, I absolutely interact with the game.
Yes, I do. This is mostly a personal project, but then I've also been handing them out and trading them. So I make alts which have like largely monochrome stuff going on.
Yeah. That was maybe more of a yellow. I've done a bit of art. Yeah, I've done some poker chip designs for some people and stuff like that, and organized some group buys for those sort of things. So yeah, it's a bit of that.
I mean, I've kind of stumbled into this position, but I run these showdown online tournaments, which see between 70 and the last event I ran had 86 players in it. Kind of by accident in a way, but the events have been really successful.
I do. Like, tiebreakers have a bunch of deck building that we do. There's like playing and theory crafting is my involvement with the game basically, but a lot of it.
We haven't released an episode in a while, but I do this, like, I and Orbital Tangent are the Slumscast. So if you've listened to that, which I know no one listens to the Slumscast, it's okay. You don't have to tell anyone. You may know me from that.
You know, funny story about that. I am the community team lead for Null Signal Games. We've been having a blast, sharing the game on socials, working with creators to get some of this awesome content made, and generally building the community around this awesome game that I have really fallen in love with.
Oh, yeah. I work on the Null Signal web dev team, so I work on Netrunner DB and Cobra, and, volunteer in that way.
Oh, my God. If you've ever heard of StimHack Slack, that is my domain. Pretty much there's like 6 people who talk on it anymore, but it's a special place. Oh, yeah, I do, right, I do that too. I make a lot of fun art, alt arts. I got a shop online. I'm open for commissions if anyone is interested. But yeah, I love doing that. It's a reason why I've stayed in the game for so long, I think. It's great.
Is watching streams interacting? Yes. So I do watch Metropole Grid and then Neon Static as well. So I think those are my 2 main channels that I watch, and they're amazing.
I've been pushing for ONR to be revived a little bit. I've been trying to make an ONR cube and get people out to play ONR sealed. But that's old Netrunner and not new Netrunner. So I guess no is the answer there.
Yes, I helped to make the game. I work on these rules, and people ask me weird questions about what happens when you use 2 cards that were never meant to be used together.
Well, I like to 3D print things. I like to have some things for sale up there. Help to run some tournaments locally. Pick this up, sure. Enjoy 3D printing, cool Netrunner things. Any way I can, really.
Do I interact with Netrunner outside of playing the game? Well, I stream. You can find me on Twitch and on YouTube at Sokka234. I'll be posting shorts throughout the weekend, and there's also a little surprise on Saturday, which is probably before the release of this, but there'll be a nice little surprise on my YouTube on Saturday. Yeah, go check that out. It should be already out.
I think I interact with Netrunner mostly outside of the game, which is part of the reason why I didn't have any goals for Standard this year. I am part of QTM. I am not one of the good QTM players. I am their entertainment value. I got my little "We're So Good" badge, even if I'm not raking in the wins like some of them. I just take Frog's decks and I make them worse, and then I go and have fun.
Yeah. So part of a testing team, I do play testing, help with like ban list testing, that sort of thing. I don't make content, but I'm often on streams or content creators programs, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I interact with Netrunner a lot outside of playing the game because I'm part of NSG. I am the art liaison with the visual team.
Sure do. I'm the lead editor at Null Signal Games. So if you've ever read an article on the website, there's a good chance that I copy edited it. And I run tournaments. I'm running UK Nationals in a month. And I judge, of course.
Yeah, I'm the usual guest star on the ShadowNet every week. I'm in the testing group. I help give feedback on rules. Oh, I'm also a tournament organizer. I'm the one of the organizers for the North American Netrunner Player Circuit, the NANPC, which we ran last year. It was really successful. I run Cascadia every year in Seattle, and that's a big event in the West Coast. Yeah, I do a bunch of different things for Netrunner. It's a big part of my life. The most important people in my life I met playing this game.
Yes, so I'm part of the Future Perfect, but for this tournament at least, no one else in the testing group is playing, so I'm mainly testing with William Stalker.
I guess recently the thing that I'm part of the Tiebreakers testing team, but I think the thing I might be most well known for now is rescuing Man in the Moon's World's Showdown event. I set up the private server that let the event run when the official JNet server crashed with 80 people trying to play.
Reversed accounts. So I built an ob list, use Hearts and Minds and wall-to-wall, use Svigator, trash, any one cost, fetching reversed accounts. You place a counter on any ice, you move that counter from the ice to the reversed accounts, placing additional counter. Then if you want, you can advance, click, the runner loses 16 credits, you spend 2 credits. I'd say that's a pet card.
For a while, it's probably been mutually assured destruction. Especially, there's not currently any decks that can play and kill in the same turn, but any time I can do a full combo of play mad and have clicks to kill.
There's an odd deck.
There's nothing I'm happy with currently that can do it.
I love me some Audrey, I'll say that. There's just something about breaking for no credits that's just utterly broken, but I love it.
My classic pet card is Because I Can. The perfect 56th card. Or not 56, 46. You know what I'm saying. I'm tired.
More people should play Mindscaping in their decks. Mindscaping is sick. It just does everything. It fixes your draw. It gives you money. It mercs them. It's awesome. Play Mindscaping.
Current pet card, I feel like is an ID a pet card. I feel like I'm the Atea guy now. Top Atea at Worlds, and it went really well. So yeah.
I really love Arasana. Probably my favorite card is Slap Vandal, I would say. I love the way Arasana plays. A lot of fun and just kind of feels like you're cheating. You're playing a whole different game entirely, and there's a lot of, no, wait, I'm going to do something else thing. I like it a lot.
I guess, can I say an ID? Then a Kiko. Absolutely loved it, and I think I'm very glad that I did as well as I did on the final Worlds that Akiko is legal for. 33rd.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Window of Opportunity. I love that card so much. I'm sad that right now it's only really strong with Saucy, but I'm trying to find more secret sauce. Maybe we'll see that later on.
I just did art for the Physarum Entangler for the Run Together pack, so support Run Together because that's a good thing, and check out the Physarum Entangler I did there.
Changes both days, I'm going to go with Piranha Condenser, and I'm not sorry about it.
Snare. It always has been Snare. Honestly, I'm going to go with an aesthetic answer here. I have a really cool Sneak Door Beta alt art, so it's Sneak Door Beta.
It's not like super flashy, but I think Greasing the Palm is just great. I almost never get the second clause. I forget it has an extra sentence, but it literally doesn't matter.
I think my favorite card of all time is SMC Self-Modifying Code. It's just like such a shaper card, and I'm a shaper player, so that's my favorite.
Probably Knife at this point. I would want to say Nexus 100%, but Nexus is dead and gone.
My current pet card's Lat, probably. As an ID, Lat's just so much fun. You get a lot of draws out of that, and that's just fun gameplay. We'll go with that.
I think it's Takobi. I feel like it's a weird one because it is a competitive card, right? It's not that much of a pet card, but I've been playing it in Lat, and it's been really, really good. And other people keep playing Turbine and other solutions, and I'm like, guys, Takobi's right here. You know, we could. It's good.
My current pet card. I don't have a current pet card. I used to be an ESSA player when ESSA was like bad, and now everyone's decided that they're going to start tuning ESSA and making ESSA good, and it's very disappointing because I just want to play ESSA as Jank and not have it be like overtuned and teched against. So I don't have a pet card, but please contact me for new pet card suggestions.
I feel like it's got to be Charlotte. So one of my favorite things about Netrunner is the bluffing mechanic, which is why Jinteki is my favorite corp. I love the bluffing and like the extra layers of that. And so I like to pop Charlotte in because, you know, you can bluff her as an agenda and it's whoops, it's money. So love that.
Current pet card, Time Bomb. I'm going to be sad all weekend, but I'm playing it.
Oh, it's gotta be Epiphany. I love Epiphany. It's such a silly card, but the Epiphany Hollow Man like combo of just like yeeting an agenda off the top of R&D just makes my heart sing. And anytime I get to Epiphany Hollow Man and then a Stoke the Embers right off the top to score it that same exact turn, just like mwah. It's wonderful. I love Epiphany. It's so silly.
Well, I love Banghar every time. I put it in World Triari and then they banned it. Tragic stuff.
The community. It's not close. I've played other card games. I've played other tabletop games before. I'm a filthy Magic player. I've played HeroClix. I played L5R. I played Thrones. And at no point was there really an effort to make everybody in the room feel welcome and make everybody in the room valid. And with Netrunner, that's never a concern. Everybody who plays Netrunner is welcome. They're valid. They are wanted. Whether you're going to scrub out and go like 0-14 this weekend, or whether you're going to go 14-0 and win the tournament Saka, it doesn't matter. We want you here. We love you, and that rules.
Oh, it's people. Absolutely. Like, game could be terrible, but I would probably still be here.
The people. Yeah, sure. It's a great game, and it's spoiled every other card game for me. But it's the people. It's the community. It's just all the people that play the game and run the game. It's awesome.
I think Netrunner is fantastic. The way that it's balanced by action economy, rather than like card draws to a lesser extent, really just makes it feel like you always have meaningful decisions to make in the game, that at any moment you can swing things in your favor if you just kind of get a little bit lucky, take some risks, and all of that. I love the hidden information element of it. It really combines a lot of things into a pretty quick game, and yeah, big fan.
Just the community. Everyone just has a great time. Everyone's really chill. And I think a large part of that is the setup of the game, in that proxies are totally fine. It's not a money-driven thing. It's very much from like organization down. It's all just people who are passionate about the game and just love playing it and want to see it do well.
Yeah, I really love the mix of flavor, depth of strategy, and honestly a great community. I think those three things are very hard to find in a card game where people aren't just fishing for the most expensive card to put in their deck, so it's nice.
I love asymmetric games in general, and the mindfulness about the access to the game is really special, and the community is awesome here, so I think that's great. And so, that's how I got into it, but I stayed because of everything else going on around it, for sure.
God, it's the community. It's all the people who play the game. It's all the people who come out to events like this. It's all the people who interact with the game online. It's all the people who are making wonderful content around the game, the streams and the podcasts. It's just, there's such a good energy. It's so inclusive. It just keeps me coming back to it.
It's an amazing game. The fact that we, as a community, have come together to keep this game from the sideshow of the corporate world is just truly amazing. The people that volunteer to help build this community, the players that continue to show up, and honestly, the game is just stellar. I played games since before I could hold cards. This is the best game that I've ever played.
Really the community. It's I keep coming out for the people, and the game having a little bit of hidden information makes it that you can make jokes at the table, you can make bluffs. It's, if you want to play Control, you can play Control. So like it has something for every play style, but really it's also the community that comes out that just loves any play style you bring out and will love to interact with you and just have jokes. So it's everything put together makes Netrunner so much more than the sum of its parts. The community, honestly. I think we kind of saw in 2018 and moving forward how the community rallied around the game and how people stepped up and said, we're going to make this game purely because we love it. And I think that is pretty unique across games, like both in the urge to do that in the first place and the amount of success that it's had. And Netrunner wouldn't have that if it didn't have incredible people playing it and incredible people interested in making sure that it continues on and is as great of a game as it always has been.
I will say the same thing that you will hear from many people you ask, which is the people that both make the game and play the game. If this is a great game, don't get me wrong. If people were Jags or the community was like so-so, wouldn't be the thing that it is.
I think the community for sure is like the best part about it. Everyone I've met in Netrunner has been like fantastic. They're like the nicest crowd. And I also just love the cyberpunk theme of it. It's really good.
Netrunner special because of the community that we have and the spirit of that community. You can be hyper competitive, you can be casual, you can be whatever, and you will always be met by someone who's willing to sit and play at your level where you're at.
The community, 100%. Yeah, Netrunner has it's the best community, the best people. I mean, you come out, like, some people come out to compete and they're trying to do well, but like, you at the end of the day, you're always coming to like hang out with people, hang out with friends, and see people that you know and love. Yeah.
What makes Netrunner so special, hands down, is the community. I think this is such an accepting place and such a friendly place, and I think just how like excited to be here everyone is. I mean, I was bottom tables yesterday, round 11. People were varying energy levels, but it was like 8:30 p.m. We sat down, we started chatting, and I said something that I do believe, which is being at the bottom tables at the end of the day is actually a great place to be. Everybody at the bottom tables is there because they just played 10 games of Netrunner, most of which they just lost, and still want to play more Netrunner. So it's pretty great.
I think the community, Null Signal for putting out the game, making it very accessible is great. And it's just such an interesting game. I mean, especially compared to like a lot of other card games where you really can only play with the cards in your hand. In Netrunner, you have a lot of other options of what you can do. Even if you have a bad hand, you can find ways out of it.
Definitely the community, and I think a lot of people would say that, but also I was a track and field athlete before, so being able now to compete and travel like fills that like niche in my life that because I'm no longer like competing in that. So that also is very good.
Oh, it's got to be the community. I mean, the people that play Netrunner are just so lovely, so welcoming, so accommodating for everything, and I'm really happy to be a part of that.
The community, absolutely, it's the people, 100%.
I think it's a corny answer, but I think it's the people, ultimately. I'm proud of what we built. I'm proud that the community is willing to stand up for things and say things aren't right or wrong, and if someone says something that's like transphobic or bigoted or is like out of line, people are going to say like, shut the up. And so I love that about it. And I love the people. I mean, these are people who have been friends with forever, and like ultimately, it's a trope, but like Netrunner is a lot of fun and playing the tournament's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing the game, but I'm excited to go get drinks tonight.
I think Netrunner gives you kind of a lot of control over the things that you're doing, which I think is fairly unique in a card game. Like there's always so many options for things you can do. Being able to manage your resources really efficiently is a really big deal, and I think that's a really interesting puzzle.
I think it's just a really unique game. I really love the asymmetry of it. I really love the theme. I really like just the nature of the game and the action economy in it. But I think like the community is the thing that kind of actually got me to keep doing it even after my earliest sort of disastrous experiences. Everybody I met was super nice, super helpful, would point out my mistakes. I benefited from a lot of people helping me out along the way. So I think that's there's this great game and there's this great community, and you put both together and it's a great hobby.
The community, right, is the easy answer, but specifically the way in which the vibe of the game and the vibe of community intersect into like a really kind of novel political space, almost like small p political, like a place where that thing people say about the personal is political, right, and so is play, right. Those things are all, to me, as somebody who's a bit of a like political theory nerd, really apparent in the Netrunner space in a way that is not just theoretically interesting, but also just delightful to be involved in, and always a joy.
So many things, like the asymmetry that is so perfectly balanced, I think is the thing that most draws me to it. Being able to compete on different axes, but in a fair way. And also the massive skill expression compared to other card games. It feels like you can do so much in Netrunner.
It's impossible to pick out one thing. Like, it's everything. It's the fact that we try to make this not cost money. It's that we don't make you fight over $500 in cash prizes so that we don't have to worry about someone cheating. The people in here are the greatest community I've ever seen, and that we take so much effort to make sure that everyone is welcome here.
There's a million things I could say, but honestly, in the long run, it has to be the community. Like, I don't think I've ever played a game with such a welcoming community, such a queer community, especially. Like, it's an amazing place. Everyone's so friendly. Everyone's willing to teach you. Everyone's willing to, take turns back. I was at a tournament like a couple of months ago, and I accidentally played a card, and I was like, wait a second, that's not right. Can I take that back? And the guy was like, no. And I was like, well, okay, I forgot I'm not playing Netrunner anymore. So it's just like we've harbored a community that is inviting, graceful, just the best people that I've met playing card games. So shout outs to you, the Netrunner community.